Hey there, everyone. This is Dan from the Strength Coach Tutor. Thanks for checking out today's video. We are going to go over how to solve for target heart rate calculations using the Karvonen method and the age predicted max heart rate calculations. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's get started. The question we have here is that we have a 30-year-old runner looking to train between 50 to 60% of their max heart rate. Their resting heart rate is 60 beats per minute, right? So when we solve for Karvonen, right, we would need that resting heart rate number. Or when we solve for age predicted max heart rate, we do not need that. But so if the question asks you to solve for Karvonen, they would provide you with that resting heart rate. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with Karvonen. So step one is to find your age predicted max heart rate, APMHR, age predicted max heart rate. All that is super simple is just 220 minus age, right? So in this example, the age is 30 years old. So we're going to do 220 minus 30, and that's going to equal 190, okay? So that's super simple there. So 190 beats per minute. Step two is to find heart rate reserve, or HRR, all right, heart rate reserve. So all that is your age predicted max heart rate, which we found in step one, which is 190, and we subtract that by their resting heart rate, which is 60 beats per minute. So 190 minus 60 equals 130 beats per minute, all right? Pretty straightforward. This is where it gets a little bit trickier. We have to do a little bit more difficult math. So step three, we then have to use the two intensities here, the 50 and the 60%, and plug those numbers in. So that equation looks like intensity, and intensity for these equations is going to be expressed as a decimal. It's intensity times your heart rate reserve. You do what's in parentheses first, you do that, and then you add your resting heart rate, okay? So that's the formula you have to do, and you have to do this twice, once for 50% and once for 60%, all right? So let's do 50%. So that would look like 0.5, right? Because again, we're converting those percentages into a decimal, times heart rate reserve, which is 130, plus the 60. So there we would get 0.5 times 130 is going to be 65. 65 plus 60 would then equal 125. All right, and that's going to be beats per minute. Then we're going to do the same thing, but with 0.6, so 0.6 times 130 plus 60 equals, let's see here, so we got 0.6 times 130 equaling 78 plus 60. Oh, I'm doing my math wrong there, I apologize. 0.6 times 130 is 78 plus 60 is going to be 138. Okay, maybe I didn't do something wrong. Anyways, our range then here for this question, right, the answer that we would be looking for, they ask us to solve this question using the Karvonen method, is going to be 125 to 138 beats per minute. All right, that's the answer we're looking for. Now, when we do the age predicted or maximal heart rate calculation method, it's going to look a little bit different. Okay, things are going to look a little bit different here. So step one is going to be exactly the same. You're going to find age predicted max heart rate, 220 minus age. Age has stayed the same, obviously, so 220 minus 30 is going to equal 190 beats per minute. Now, step two is all we have to do is intensity times their max heart rate. That's all it is, right? Their age predicted max heart rate. That's all you have to do. So you do intensity times age predicted max heart rate. And you have to do that twice, right? Because we have two numbers here in terms of intensity. So you have to do 0.5 times 190. And so 0.5 times 190 will be 95. And then we have 0.6 times 190. That will equal 114. All right, so the answer we would look for here is that range of 95 to 114 beats per minute. All right. When we go on from there, we can see how these two answer choices are going to differ a little bit, right? And research does show that the Karvonen method does tend to be more accurate. So if you ever want to figure this out and determine this in the real world, should probably use Karvonen method, but of course you're at the whim of having to use either one of these two processes or equations to solve for the correct answer choice. And they will tell you that in the question. They will say use Karvonen method or use the maximal heart rate / age predicted method. But now you may be wondering, okay, like great, I can understand those steps. Maybe the math is a little bit difficult for me to do by hand, right? Because you don't get a calculator on the exam. And so there's something that I like to call the 10% rule. And I use this whenever I have to divide or multiply with a decimal. So let's say, for example, right, we had to multiply by 0.5 and 0.6, right? And so let's just use this example from Karvonen method when we had to multiply by 0.5 and 0.6. Maybe 0.5 I could figure out pretty easily because that's just going to be half of something, right? But 0.6 is going to be a little bit more challenging. It's like it's not as easy to figure out, right? So this is what I mean by the 10% rule. And this is what I do to figure things out if it's a little bit harder for me to do in my head. So the 10% rule, you always take 10% of your whole number, your big number, right? Or whatever number it is that you're trying to find a percentage of, if you will. So in this case, right, it's going to be that 130, that heart rate reserve. So 10% of 130 equals 13, right? So 10% equals 13. I then know 20% is going to equal 26, right? Because it's just going to be double. 40% is going to be double of 20%, so that should be 52. Okay, straightforward so far, but it's like, all right, 50, you could have just found half of 130, right? Or what you can do, you can take the 40% number, which is 52, and add it to the 10% number, which is 13, and that would get you your 50%. So 52 plus 13 should be 65, I believe. Yep. And 65 is half of 130, right? So that's straightforward. And then let's just say I want to go up to 60. 60% is just going to be that 50% number plus the 10% number, right? So you could do 65 plus 13, and that would give me 78, right? That would give me 78. And that's how I do that. That's what I call the 10% rule. Now, say, for example, this question was asking you 55 to 65%. Well, you can always figure out 5%, right? Because 5% is just going to be half of that 10%. So 5% would be, what, 6.5? Yeah. So there we go. You just add whatever you need to add together. It's that simple. So, and again, this is what I do to use when I have to multiply by decimals or divide. All right, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this was useful for you to help figure out the Karvonen method and maximal heart rate calculations. If you need more practice questions like this or want more information, you can, of course, head to my website, thestrengthcoachtutor.com, and schedule one-on-one tutoring sessions with me or join our online classroom. All right. Thanks for watching today's video, guys. Appreciate it. See you soon.